Hello, welcome back. On what seemed like an ordinary Sunday morning in Baton Rouge, Gabriel Swaggart stood before thousands at the Family Worship Center, ready to deliver a message. Many came expecting encouragement, faith, and inspiration, but the tone in Gabriel's voice made it clear this would be no routine sermon. From the moment he approached the pulpit, there was a heaviness about him, a burden that suggested he wasn't just here to comfort but to warn. As he began, his words were measured yet sharp, focusing on what true ministry really meant. At first, his voice was steady, but the more he spoke, the stronger his conviction became, pulling the crowd in closer with every statement. People quickly realized this wasn't a simple teaching, it was something deeper, something that would spark conversations far beyond the walls of the church. Without naming names, Gabriel painted a picture of a kind of ministry that dazzled on the outside but was hollow at its core. His tone shifted from calm to urgent as he declared that ministry was never about building personal kingdoms, collecting applause, or turning the pulpit into a stage for glory. Ministry, he said, was about souls, about preaching God's word even when it's not popular, even when it doesn't bring wealth or fame. His words landed heavy, filling the sanctuary with tension. Some nodded, others shifted uncomfortably, but no one could deny the power of what he was saying. The line that seemed to strike hardest was when he stated that if the message becomes about the man and not Christ, it ceases to be ministry and becomes show business. The silence that followed was thick. Then, slowly, applause rippled through the room as some stood in agreement while others exchanged uneasy glances. It was clear that Gabriel's message had touched a nerve. By the time clips of the sermon hit social media, the reaction exploded. Speculation swirled almost instantly. Was Gabriel speaking about Bishop T.D. Jakes? The parallels were hard to ignore. Jakes, long celebrated and criticized for his massive conferences, best-selling books, and global influence, had often been accused of leaning too heavily on prosperity and the spotlight of fame. Gabriel hadn't called out any name directly, but many felt his words pointed squarely in Jakes's direction. Online debates erupted. Supporters of Gabriel praised him for being courageous enough to voice what they believed many had been thinking all along, that ministry should return to its core purpose. His critics, however, accused him of jealousy or disrespect, arguing that T.D. Jakes's ministry had touched millions worldwide and that building large platforms didn't diminish its spiritual value. The conversation grew louder, turning Gabriel's sermon into a trending topic across social media blogs and Christian news outlets. Headlines framed it as a clash of ministry philosophies, and commentators broke down his every phrase. Though Jakes himself remained silent, his ministry released a carefully crafted response stressing humility, love, and the importance of unity. The statement avoided confrontation, yet some saw it as an acknowledgement that Gabriel's words had hit close to home. The back and forth only fueled more debate, pulling everyday believers into the discussion. Online forums, church groups, and podcasts lit up with conversations about what real ministry should look like in today's world. Gabriel had not only stirred his congregation but also sparked a nationwide conversation about authenticity, faith, and the dangers of celebrity-driven religion. The ripple effect was undeniable. What began as a sermon in Baton Rouge had transformed into a movement of voices across the country, some praising bold truth, others defending modern approaches. Regardless of where people stood, the one certainty was that Gabriel's words had struck a chord, opening up a discussion that the church could no longer ignore.